This evening, first, international eyes on Parliament. The United States and other partners are urging the swift appointment of an opposition leader, warning that Ghana's democratic institutions cannot fully function without one in place. Plus, support for fishing families. More than 1,700 fisherfolk on the Corentyne receive cash grants as government injects hundreds of millions into livelihoods, food security, and the modernization of the fisheries sector. Also, crackdown on narcotics. CANU reports major drug seizures, arrests, and convictions in 2025, with more than $433 million worth of illicit drugs taken off the streets and new systems rolled out to detect emerging threats. Meanwhile, training the tourism workforce. A National Tourism and Hospitality Institute moves closer to completion, aiming to equip Guyanese with internationally recognized skills for a fast-growing industry. And abroad, a deadly landfill collapse in the Philippines. Rescue teams race against time as dozens remain missing under debris in Cebu province. These stories and more coming up. Stay with us. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for January 12, 2026. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, Ghana's post-election political landscape is drawing growing international attention as the United States and other key partners call for the swift appointment of an opposition leader to ensure the country's democratic institutions function effectively. U.S. Ambassador to Guyana, Nicole Theriot, said the election of an opposition leader is critical following the September 1st, 2025 general and regional elections, which returned the People's Progressive Party Civic to office and saw the newly formed We Invest in Nationhood Party, led by Azruddin Mohammed, emerge as the second largest bloc in parliament. Despite this outcome, the National Assembly has convened only once since the elections, and the constitutionally required meeting of opposition parliamentarians to elect an opposition leader has not yet been held. Ambassador Theriot stressed that a functioning parliament depends on having an opposition leader in place and urged that the matter be addressed as soon as possible. President Fanali has rejected claims that the government is delaying parliamentary sittings to influence the process, describing such suggestions as absolutely ridiculous and insisting the choice of opposition leader is solely the opposition's responsibility. Theriot acknowledged that Mohammed's ongoing extradition case in the United States could complicate certain engagements, but said this should not prevent the democratic process from moving forward. She also noted that the European Union, Canada, and the United Kingdom have similarly called for the position to be filled promptly. In other news, a major cash injection is reaching Ghana's fishing communities as more than 1,700 fisherfolk on the Corentyne coast receive direct financial support under the government's ongoing drive to strengthen and modernize the fisheries sector. Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa led a cash relief distribution exercise on Saturday, fulfilling a commitment made by President Dr. Mohamed Fanali to provide timely assistance to those in the fishing industry. In Region 6, 1,704 fisherfolk will benefit from the initiative, representing an investment of $245.6 million to boost livelihoods and stimulate local economic activities. Addressing beneficiaries at the Albion Community Center, Minister Mustafa said the initiative reflects the government's broader plan to build a resilient and sustainable fishing industry.
For you in the fishing sector, we want to develop a fishing industry in our country which is resilient, which is strong, and we can build an industry that will be for the future. You see, people see fishing in this country as a job that is a temporary job. We have to stop treating it like that. And that is why we are making the investment in the fishing sector in our country.
Minister Mustafa highlighted investments made over the past 5 years, including the development and upgrade of hundreds of landing sites nationwide to improve working conditions. The minister also outlined measures to modernize the sector, such as expanded aquaculture projects, tax-free fishing equipment, improved security to curb piracy, and support for marketing and exports. This is what some of the fisher folks had to say about the grant.
Whatever the president been doing, he has been doing a lot. Because at this time in the year, the waters now will be rough and And fishermen does be hardly working because they go there, the jack take a roll seeing. Sometimes they might work in Chinese seeing, then they can't go, the pen break down, seeing tear up. So this cash grant will come in a little bit beneficial at this time for help boost them back for whatever losses they had.
I thank the government for everything they give to us, and this money will help a lot to help me. I get things bills to pay, I get my vehicle to look after, and you do a lot for me, and thank the president and everybody for everything.
I was a fisherman since I was a kid, well, probably 12, 13 years old. And this cash grant, it makes me feel good because you could at least invest it back into the business to help to upgrade the property. So we feel good about it.
Nationwide, total cash grants to fisher folks are expected to reach approximately $1.5 billion. While in Berbice, Minister Mustafa also oversaw the distribution of rice subsidies, benefiting over 1,400 farmers at a cost of about $490 million. On a different note, the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit says it made significant strides in strengthening Guyana's drug control framework in 2025, recording major seizures, expanded prevention efforts, and stronger regional cooperation, while positioning the country as an active disruptor of narcotics trafficking. A key milestone during the year was the launch of Guyana's National Early Warning System, designed to detect and respond to new psychoactive substances and emerging drug threats through coordinated law enforcement, forensic, and health sector input. CANU also intensified intelligence-led operations, targeting trafficking routes, ports, and organized criminal networks, resulting in multiple arrests and prosecutions. In 2025, CANU seized over 235 kilograms of cocaine and over 700 kilograms of cannabis, along with smaller quantities of synthetic drugs. Region 4 recorded the highest cocaine seizures, while Region 6 accounted for the largest volume of cannabis. A total of 117 arrests were made, 62 persons were charged, and 29 drug-related convictions secured, with fines reaching up to $311 million and prison sentences of up to 4 years. The estimated street value of seized narcotics exceeded $433 million. CANU also reported 13 firearm seizures linked to drug operations. Beyond enforcement, the agency reached more than 5,600 people through prevention and education programs, primarily in schools, and completed 27 local and international training initiatives. CANU says it enters 2026 with enhanced intelligence capabilities, stronger partnerships, and improved readiness to counter evolving drug threats, including synthetic narcotics. Stick around when we return. Tourism and Hospitality Institute set for completion in mid-2026, and Guyana receives first preliminary report of the 2022 population and housing census.
Just chocolates, bounce into flavor. Ping pong, everybody wants some. Roasted peanuts is the true number one. Ping pong, you better get a handful. This chocolate is so incredible. What's the snack everybody craves for? Ping pong, bounce into flavor. Chocolate coated peanuts, delicious top class A plus. Ping pong from Charles Chocolates, bounce into flavor.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Middle Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road, Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lenders Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
GCOM will be conducting a claims and objections exercise commencing January 5, 2026 to produce an official list of electors, OLE, if you will be 18 years or older by December 31, 2025, and you're a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, or naturalization, or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more, you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE. GCOM will be posting the preliminary list of electors, PLE, in all of the registration divisions across Guyana for you to check if you are listed, and if so, whether your particulars are accurate. You can make a claim for registration, change or correction to your particulars, or you can object to the inclusion of anyone who you believe should not be on the list. If you are desirous of making a claim or objection, you must visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your area of residence to do so. Visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your area of residence to conduct any of the above transactions. All GCOM registration offices will open Mondays to Fridays from 8 to 18 hours, Saturdays and Sundays from 10 to 14 hours. For more information, contact the GCOM on 225-0278-9 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
Welcome back. President Dr. Mohamed Irfaan today received the first copy of the preliminary report from the Guyana National Population and Housing Census 2022. Presented by Deputy Census Officer and Deputy Chief Statistician at the Bureau of Statistics, Ms. Vanessa Profit. The report is scheduled for a public launch this afternoon at the Arthur Chung Conference Center. Commending the Bureau of Statistics for its diligent and successful execution of the census, President Ali highlighted the scale of the nationwide undertaking and reaffirmed the importance of the data for informed policymaking. He noted that insights from the census will guide government's decisions, including public investment and development planning. Also attending the handover were Senior Minister in the Office of the President with responsibility for finance, Dr. Ashley Singh, and Chief Statistician at the Bureau of Statistics, Dr. Errol Cruz. The release of the report marks a key milestone in Ghana's data-driven approach to national planning and policy formulation. In other news, Ghana is taking a major step towards professionalizing its tourism and hospitality sector as a new national training institute moves closer to completion, promising to equip local workers with internationally recognized skills to meet the demands of a rapidly growing industry. The Tourism and Hospitality Institute, a key project aimed at strengthening Ghana's tourism workforce, remains on track for completion by mid-2026, with curriculum development already underway. Tourism Industry and Commerce Minister Susan Rodriguez confirmed the update during an appearance on the Starting Point podcast on Sunday. She explained that the Ministry of Education is managing the project in collaboration with the Ghana Tourism Authority to design a curriculum that will train Guyanese to international standards. Once completed, the Institute is expected to help address skills gaps across the tourism and hospitality sector by providing practical training in areas such as tour operations, customer service, food handling, and beverage services. The facility is intended to improve service delivery in hotels, restaurants, and tourism-related business nationwide. Minister Rodriguez stressed the importance of combining classroom learning with hands-on, on-the-job experience to ensure graduates are fully prepared for real-world demands. The initiative forms part of the government's broader efforts to build human capital and support the continued expansion of Ghana's tourism industry. Don't go away after the break. Families await release of Venezuela's political prisoners amid U.S. pressure, and Iran's Pezeshkian vows action to economic woes, warns against rioters.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lenders Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lenders Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road, Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lenders Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Current smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services. 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Ping pong from Josh chocolates. Bongs into flavor. Ping pong, everybody want some. Roasted peanuts is the true number one. Ping pong, you better get a handful. This chocolate is so incredible. What's the snack everybody craves for? Ping pong, bongs into flavor. Chocolate coated peanuts. Delicious top class A plus ping pong. Ping pong from Josh chocolates. Bongs into flavor.
GCOM will be conducting a claims and objections exercise commencing January 5, 2026 to produce an official list of electors OLE if you will be 18 years or older by December 31, 2025 and you're a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent or naturalization or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more, you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE. GCOM will be posting the preliminary list of electors PLE in all of the registration divisions across Guyana for you to check if you are listed and if so, whether your particulars are accurate. If you have changed your address since you were registered, you need to visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your new area of residence to apply for a transfer. Sunday, January 18, 2026 is the last day you can apply for a transfer during this exercise. For more information, contact the GCOM on 2250-278-9 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world.
Good evening, I'm Dominic Gittins. Tonight, St. Lucia signs a non-binding deal with the United States on accepting third country nationals, urging calm amid misinformation. Venezuela frees more detainees as right groups push for wider release. Iran's president blames unrest on writers, and rescue efforts continue after deadly landfill collapse in the Philippines. We begin in St. Lucia. St. Lucia Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre announced a non-binding memorandum of understanding with the United States to potentially accept certain third country nationals. He said that framework triggers no immediate transfers, remains discretionary, and aligns with national interests, while urging calm amid misinformation and confirming no changes to U.S. visa policy. Rights group says Venezuela's government has released another group of prisoners. They are urging authorities to free more detainees. About 1,000 political prisoners are believed to be held in jails across Venezuela. Al Jazeera's Alessandro Rampietti reports.
Relatives of Venezuelan political prisoners holding a night vigil outside a detention center in the town of Guatire. Lighting candles and singing the national anthem, families gathered here after authorities announced the release of what they called a significant number of detainees. They had hoped for a swift mass release, but 3 days on, the process has been slow and uneven.
We are distressed, filled with anxiety. Today we thought there would be releases, but no releases took place here.
The government has not released a list or count of which and how many of the almost 1,000 political prisoners are being freed. But some still hold on to hope.
I have faith that we will be united as we were. That's what I want most. I would like to be with my brother, who I hadn't seen for 4 years, and he came to spend vacation and they took him away. It hurts me too much. It's too hard.
The releases are widely seen as a political signal to Washington. President Donald Trump has took credit for the move, saying it came at U.S. request. But the slow, piecemeal pace also points to tensions inside the interim government, trying to ease U.S. pressure while maintaining control at home.
Supporters of Venezuela's deposed leader Nicolás Maduro rallied 1 week after his dramatic capture by U.S. forces. And interim President Delcy Rodriguez once again denounced what she called U.S. aggression.
In defense of our homeland's peace, we are uniting all Venezuelans, to reject the vile and criminal attack of January 3rd and to condemn that our head of state, President Nicolás Maduro, has been kidnapped.
The US does not have an embassy in Venezuela, but from neighboring Colombia it issued a statement warning that armed militia groups known as colectivos have set up checkpoints across the country, stopping vehicles and searching for US citizens and supporters. 1 week after Maduro's fall, the message from Caracas remains contradictory, part concession, part crackdown. But for families waiting outside these prisons, all that matters now is whether this moment will at least bring their loved ones home. Alessandro Rampietti, Al Jazeera, Cucuta.
Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian has accused what he called rioters and terrorist elements for hijacking anti-government demonstrations and causing havoc. Masoud Pezeshkian addressed the unrest in a television interview as the protest enters its third week. Al Jazeera Hamza Mohammed reports.
Thousands gathered in Tehran for the funerals of dozens of police and security personnel killed following days of unrest. Authorities have not released an official civilian death toll. However, activists based outside the country say it's well into the hundreds. The government says rioters are responsible for the escalating violence.
In the 12-day war, the enemy wanted to create chaos in our country and is doing the same thing with our economic situation. They have trained some people inside and outside the country. They have bought in some terrorists from outside. They attacked the bazaar in Rust and set it on fire. They shot people, burned them, beheaded them. They have set mosques on fire. They are not our people.
For weeks, protesters have been taking to the streets, rallying against the weak economy and plunging local currency. President Masoud Pezeshkian says his government is prepared to listen to the protesters.
The merchants closed the bazaar and they had criticisms. I had meetings with them and so did my ministers. We heard their complaints and we came to an understanding. We asked them to come and sit in a government meeting and they did. They told us their concerns. We will resolve their issues in every way that we can.
Meanwhile, security forces have stepped up their crackdown across the country. Internet and telecommunication services have been largely shut down since Thursday. Outside Iran, solidarity protests have taken place. Hundreds of Iranians marched through central Paris, while a similar event was organized by the Iranian diaspora in London. As the government tightens its grip inside Iran, protesters say their demands remain unmet, leaving the country locked in a standoff between the street and the state. Hamza Mohammed, Al Jazeera.
A search operation has entered its third day after a landfill collapse at a waste facility in Cebu Province, Central Philippines. At least 6 people have been confirmed dead, with dozens still missing and believed buried under debris. Al Jazeera's Jamila Alindungan reports.
We are still here in Binaleo landfill in Cebu Province, Central Philippines. In this site, where families have been waiting for days now, the number of relatives continue to increase, and yet the number of bodies being pulled out become less and less. Initially, we spoke to a survivor who said, they wanted to volunteer. They wanted to be the one to assist rescuers because they knew exactly where the bodies were. They were together with those who were trapped here just before they were able to escape, but yet they were not allowed. And this has become very frustrating. There are now questions over safety. One survivor said that over the past few months, employees have expressed their concerns with the management. There was an earthquake, there were several typhoons, which should have prompted the management to secure the safety of this facility. Rescuers here tell us conducting rescue and retrieval operations are easier said than done. That even though they have cranes to pull out those metals, those poles, the conveyor belts, there is a huge likelihood that when they do so, that the landfill will collapse and will make it nearly impossible to pull out survivors. There have been a range of emotions here. Hope, hopelessness, anger, rage, and still many are still praying. They said they're still hoping somehow for a miracle, that their loved ones may still be alive. Jamela Alindogan, Al Jazeera, Cebu Province, Central Philippines.
Thanks, Dominique. This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's it, TV2 Headline News for this Monday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for a rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourselves and each other.